much, I think, nonsense talked about if small farmers can't continue, then we won't get any food in the supermarkets and we'll all starve or something along those lines. That's clearly nonsense. On the other hand, it's quite easy to look at what is involved here and go, what, are you kidding me? Because we're talking about farms that most likely will fall victim to this inheritance tax of being worth something over 3 million, because we'll be talking about couples, we'll be talking about some sort of tax planning. The idea that small farmers, by the way, don't go into form filling is a nonsense. You know, anyone who knows a small farmer will know that they spend endless time filling in forms. They bitterly complain about it. They bitterly resent it, but that's how they survive in terms of section of the petty bourgeoisie. They are subsidized. Okay, so we're talking about farms over, I think the figure is something like 3 million quid. And then we're talking about tax coming in that has to be repaid with no interest over a 10-year period. And, you know, some of us might be tempted to go, oh, come on, this is too much. I don't think we should take that view. I think we should take the view that these people are being used. There's something like 38,000 farms in Britain. Most of them will be on the small side. A lot of them will actually be under this government threshold, but there will be mega farms. There will be businesses. There will be multi-billionaires such as Dyson, for example, who's bought up agricultural land as a tax dodge, to use the words of Jeremy Clarkson, for example. But if we look at these as businesses, what is noticeable, and I did look this up in terms of government statistics, and this is 2022, 2023. So these are the most recent figures. What you'll see is a massive drop in farm incomes. And that is the result of, believe it or not, Brexit, which of course many of these guys, sad to say, voted for. They thought that they would be, you know, in a far more advantageous position outside the EU than in the EU. Sorry, guys, it hasn't turned out to be like that. Because what's happened is with the last Tory government is they took away loads of subsidies. So there's still subsidies, but much, much less. And also what's happened is the supermarkets, in order to keep prices down, they've squeezed the farmers. So farmers have found themselves denied subsidies on the one side and squeezed by their main buyers, which are the supermarkets on the others, on the other side. Now, if you're a mega business, you can balance this, you can do that. If you're a small farmer, it can mean, yeah, your business goes out of existence. Who's going to buy up the land? It's not going to be for development. You have to have planning permission for that. It will be one of precisely these billionaires or mega big farm concerns that will buy up this land. And meanwhile, these small farmers go out of business. Now, the approach that we take as communists strategically in the long term is not to defend the petty bourgeoisie as a class. But that doesn't mean in the short term that we don't favor special measures. We do favor special measures. So, yeah, we do favor, for example, fixing prices. The supermarket should be compelled to pay over realistic prices. They shouldn't lock in people into contracts that end up being completely draining on the incomes of small farmers. On the other hand, we favor cooperatives. On the other hand, actually, when it comes to agriculture, the Marxist movement, at least in terms of the classic tradition, doesn't favor mega size. So when it comes to a car factory, as big as necessary. When it comes to a farm, because we're actually dealing with a living system, we actually favor medium-sized mixed farms. And I know you can't have that everywhere, but nonetheless, in terms of mono agriculture, in terms of factory farming, you know, with tens of thousands of pigs or millions of chickens, Marxists for decent food, for food that is grown with nature as well as the consumer in mind, but also when it comes to the living animal, it recognizes that what we're dealing with is something with consciousness, not human consciousness, but something that suffers, something that feels. We should respect that. We should have a situation that what we eat has some sort of decent life. And when I look at how pigs are raised, when I look at how chickens are raised, and when I look at, I drink milk products, by the way, cheese, yogurt. When I look at how cows are raised, I must admit I'm revolted by that. Either way, we want a situation where the working class champions the right of small farmers and doesn't allow big business to use small farmers as a social battering ram against this right-wing Labour government that looks like, at least as far as the ruling class is concerned, a weak government. Not because of its parliamentary majority. We all know the statistics, how many people voted for it, how vulnerable is this government in terms of the next general election. It might hang on, but the betting at the moment is that this is a weak government. It will give concessions, and really what we're banking on is a right-wing Tory government in alignment with a right-wing US administration.